I think it's a shameful situation, no question about it. But I do think that when you're 3 years removed from winning a damn Super Bowl, or something almost everybody else is aspiring to accomplish, you just won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. It is entirely plausible that Doug Pederson could go in there and say, this is on me. This was an awful year, okay? We're going to make the necessary changes, and we're going to move forward. And if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I give him an opportunity to do that because he's already shown me he could get the job done. They've been to the playoffs the previous 3 years. They won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. This is the first time he's missed the playoffs in 4 years, all right? And most of it, according to Max, was because of the play of Carson Wentz, not the coaching of Doug Pederson. So Doug Pederson had a very bad and embarrassing week. It was obviously a very bad season, but according to Max, it was because of Carson Wentz, his hard-headedness, his unwillingness to listen, his unwillingness to be coachable, et cetera, et cetera. Well, if all of that is true, are we going to sit here with a straight face and say that a Super Bowl champion, 3 years removed from being a Super Bowl champion and going to the playoffs the last 3 years, and this is the first time he's missed the playoffs in 4 years, we're going to just sit up there and say, you know what? We don't want you. Goodbye. Get the hell up out of here. We want nothing to do with you. I think that's a bit excessive. I don't think Doug Pederson deserves that. I think he deserves the opportunity to come back and to make amends for an obvious mishap that transpired this weekend.
Well, you're pointing out the fact that Doug Pederson's an excellent coach. I agree. I think Doug Pederson can really coach. I think Carson Wentz was the issue, and you saw no matter any other quarterback that Pederson inserted and just ran his offense, whatever he wanted him to do, did very well. That's different than saying he should remain in this job. That's a different thing. Howie Roseman, first of all, let's start with the GM, hasn't drafted a Pro Bowler in 5 years. 5 years. And yet Pederson was on board with tanking, in my opinion, in order to move from 9 to 6. But he passed up on DK Metcalf, and he passed up on better receivers for worse receivers. He's better off drafting 9 than 6. Maybe a good player will fall to him, and he doesn't have to choose one of choose a lesser player instead.
So he's excellent, but should still be fired.
Roseman has not done the job. And Pederson, based on what he did yesterday, you're not going to keep a locker room next year. You listen to Jason Kelsey.
Please.
It's the December 19th media availability. Google it. I highly recommend it. It's worth your time. Listen to what Jason Kelsey says. If I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I have to send a message to the locker room. Even if the coach and the GM don't get it, I do. You gotta tear this down and start again. You're right about your assessment of Pederson being a good coach. I agree with that. Not the right coach for this job right now.
Man, this is such a horrible conversation. Your resume determines whether you keep a job or not. Yes. And for the most part, Doug Pederson's resume in the last 4 years is as good as anybody's in the league. When you start having a conversation about what coaches should go and not go. We talked about a hobbled team last year making the playoffs in the last week of the season, beating the Dallas Cowboys. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. And I know how important coaching is in the NFL. I know how important coaching is in college football. But Nick Saban ain't the greatest coach of all time in football without the players. Go look at the list of names that he had the opportunity to coach. This is not rocket science. Doug Pederson is a good coach, had a bad year. He can get the locker room back because he won a Super Bowl with a lot of those guys that were in the locker room. And they'll be fine moving forward if they get the players and surround him with people that can make plays. Bottom line, that's what he's done for the majority of his time in Philly. So having a conversation based off this year and the locker room and all the things that transpired with Carson Wentz. And two, another thing people fail to mention when they throw that point out there, half of this damn locker room going to be gone anyway. It's about to be a redo anyway of this football team. So I get it. I understand it. I'm with you, Max. If there is no shadow of a doubt that Doug Pederson can't come back and get this locker room and get guys bought in and win, you got to move on if players ain't going to follow the coach. But I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case because Doug Pederson can go in front of a team and say, guys, look what we've done. Look what we've accomplished. Look what I've been able to accomplish as a head coach. believe in me, and we can move forward and be a good football team.
And by the way, Molly, Max, Marcus, are we absolutely positively sure that Jeffrey Lurie did not sign off on this? We don't know that.
No,
we don't know that.
Man.
Or that, if Doug Pederson was given marching orders,
Doug
that's something
Pederson
else.
owned it, but
That's a possibility.
Yeah, he ain't gonna tell on his owner. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.